I want to talk about the economic stimulus plan. You can spend all this money quickly, but there's no guarantee that we'll feel the impact quickly. In fact, it could take years to implement some of these programs. Aren't tax cuts a better way to inject the money into the system faster?
Well, first of all, it's our Economic Recovery and Renewal Act, and that is to create jobs immediately and to build a foundation for economic stability as we go forward. The economists tell us that we get more bang for the buck to the extent that we invest in the American people. Tax cuts have an advantage too, but not as a big or immediate advantage as the investments that we have. And it's interesting because some of the things that we need to address the concerns from a downturn in the economy, like food stamps and unemployment insurance, give you the biggest return in terms of job creation and injecting demand into the economy.
So in layman's terms, when will I see an effect? When and how?
Well, when you'll see an effect is the confidence that will spring forth when we pass this legislation. We have initiatives that will immediately create jobs, cut taxes, help the states meet their responsibilities of public safety, education, health care, and the rest. Absent this bill, our unemployment rate would grow, our services would diminish, more people would be out of work. So again, the impact is immediate. Just think of it this way. 1 week and 1 day earlier, our new president, spoke from the steps of the Capitol. He gave a message of hope and a new direction for our country. He talked about creating jobs, about harnessing the sun and wind and the renewable energy resources. He talked about investing in education. He talked about investments in science. All of those promises made were kept in the legislation that we have passed today, 1 week and 1 day since the president's speech. It's about the policy, sure. It's also about the confidence that will spring from this.
Well, you have to raise taxes eventually to pay for all this spending, and if so, how do you sell that to the American who's hurting financially?
We're hoping that this will have a turnaround in the economy, and the point is, though, that who you tax and how you invest makes a big difference in where you come out on the budget deficit that you're referencing. And we chose a number and the priorities that would be the most positive in terms of the budget, because we do not want to heap mountains of debt onto future generations.
Can you honestly say that every program in this plan is solely to stimulate the economy?
Yes, I do.
How does $335 million in STD prevention stimulate the economy?
I'll tell you how. I'm a big believer in prevention. And we have, there's a part of the bill on the health side of it that is about prevention. It's about it being less expensive to the states to do these prevention measures.
Is that the same section where the Planned Parenthood provision was before, the one that you supported but was later cut from the plan?
As a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned it, because the Planned Parenthood section of this that was a saving of $700 million to the states and to the federal government because of the nature of the initiative. So when that came out, we had to add $700 million to the cost of the bill.
If that Planned Parenthood would have saved money, why did the president drop it?
I wish that perhaps there's a better vehicle for it to be in than this, because, quite frankly, it's a distraction.
I'd like to read a quote. "It is our duty to speak up for those who will be hurt by this, and this duty is paramount because we have been shut out of the legislative process." Can you tell me who said that?
Well, it could have been any number of people. It could have been me a number of years ago, because we never were included. But that's different from what the opportunities that we have provided for the Republicans.
It is you in April of 2005.
Yeah, and we always were shut out.
And the Republicans have leveled the same criticism against you this time around.
But it's different.
How so?
The Republicans asked for several things so that they could participate in the process, and we gave them all of the opportunities they asked for. But it serves their purpose. When you're failing on the policy argument, you talk about process. And after that, you talk about personalities. They are failing on the policy aspect.
If these votes go along party lines, as they're expected to, can we hold Democrats, can we hold you responsible if this does not stop the bleeding and things, in fact, get worse?
Well, we are definitely stepping up to the plate to say we will be accountable. We have the well-being of the American people at stake, and we're going to do what is best for them. We will be accountable for it. That's why the choices that we made had to be very carefully made, because we had to deliver on meeting the needs of the American people. And I'm very proud that 8 days actually, 1 week and 1 day after President Obama gave the nation hope, took us in a new direction, suggested some initiatives for change that we in this House of Representatives have echoed his call to action for swift and bold action to help the American people. That's what I'm very proud of. The Republicans, have had their chance. They decided to oppose. That's their choice.